And here I'm going to finish my advice with a few words to some of the seekers of knowledge, the students of knowledge, and advice to myself and advice to others. And I've given this advice many times. I think it's appropriate here that a person is very, very careful, especially when they seek knowledge and people have a trust in them that maybe they shouldn't have. And people sometimes approach them, they sometimes deal with questions that come from sisters, or marriage proposals, or second marriage proposals, or third marriage proposals, or whatever it might be. And the person falls into one of two really big problems. One is that they lose the state of being a student of knowledge. They lose the respect and the position of the seeker of knowledge because they're just running from person to person. Maybe it's not haram in the sense that marriage is a marriage, but there's, it's a marriage, a divorce, and marriage, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of qila wa qal, there's a lot of things where the person puts themselves at risk because they're chasing after this. The second problem is the worst of them all, which is the falling into the haram. And no doubt, every son of Adam, كُتِبَ عَلَيْهِ حَظُّهُ مِنَ الزِّنَا لَا مَحَالَةٍ. Every single person has been given a portion of zina they will commit. No one can escape it. Any meaning the eye, the ear, and so on. A person really has to be very, very, very careful, because Shaytan doesn't leave you. And when Shaytan sees you commit yourself to knowledge and books and studying, he doesn't leave you. And perhaps the woman that you chased when you were not a seeker of knowledge and she ran away from you, and maybe Shaytan puts her into your path again. Or another, or someone messages, or someone needs this, or someone needs that, and before long, you ruin yourself, your position with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your honor in sight of the people. It's very, very important, because ultimately we have to be able to trust the people of knowledge. If we can't, have you not seen the Shubhatul Khawarij? In reality, one of the biggest shubuhat the Khawarij ever brought is a tashkik fil ulama, to make you doubt that your scholars are sincere. This was one of the great shubuhat they brought. Because once you don't trust your scholars, you don't trust the people of knowledge, you cut the person from Allah completely. And the thing is that sometimes that is the fault of it. Like I said, it's shubuhat, and sometimes actually the talib ilm sometimes doesn't help himself. So you have to be doubly strict with yourself. And you never take the knowledge that you have as a means to, improve your standing in this world, or a means to improve your standing in terms of marriage or whatever. No, it's not that. That's not what we sought knowledge for. And that's not what we're here for. So a person has to be careful to maintain always the presence, the hayba of the talib ilm, the person of knowledge, and never ever to let themselves get caught up in things that the other people get caught up in. Yeah, people will come and say, I did this, I did that, I want to marry this person, I met her in this place, then she wants to marry me, but her parents, and that's for people come to you with those issues. You don't come to people with those issues. And a person, if they suffice themselves with what Allah Azza wa Jal made permissible for them, wallahi, they will find it is enough for them, inshaAllah ta'ala. This is a big, big hole that it's so easy to fall into, and it's very easy to ruin your reputation in a way that people don't take your knowledge. Sometimes we talked about the issue of al-erode and the issue of ad-deen. A person could say, why would I care about al-erode? Surely I should only care about ad-deen. I should care about what Allah thinks of me, not what the people think. The problem with what the people think is, if you lose your honor in the sight of the people, your da'wah will stop. Because the basic fitrah people have in da'wah is they want to take it from people that they consider to be people that they have a respect for, people that have a position in their eyes, rightly or wrongly. And if a person, and like the poet said, Wallahi law alimu qabih sarirati la bassalama alayya man yalqani wa la a'radu anni wa mallu suhbati wa la bu'tu ba'da karamatin bihawan. He said that if people knew the evil of what was in me, they wouldn't give salam to me when they met me. And they would have turned away from me and given up on my companionship, and I would have been disgraced after I was honored. But if you lose that in the sight of the people, you lose your da'wah. Your da'wah now, you tell people to do good, and you tell people to keep away from evil, but people say, how will you tell me to keep away from evil and you don't keep away from evil? How will you tell me to do good and you don't do good? How will you tell me, ittaqillah, wa anta la tattaqillah, you don't fear Allah? It can't be like this. A person really has to think about it. For the adab of the talib, the etiquettes and the behaviors, no doubt your only concern is what is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But no doubt if you lose the confidence of the community, your da'wah will be very, very hard for people to accept. That's why the prophets were the best of the people. And that's why when you hear the Israeliyat, the news of the Jews and Christians, where they talk about the prophets doing the kaba'ir, like Nuh alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, they talk about the prophets doing the kaba'ir. We know this is كذب واضح, clear lie, بهتان عظيم, because the prophets were the best of the people, عليهم الصلاة والسلام. And the prophets never fell into these kaba'ir and these, things that would make people doubt them. And they say about Dawood alayhi salam that he killed a man so he could run off with his wife, and all these Israeliyat that they say that they are mawdu'at, fabricated stories. You realize that the prophets were the best of the people and the highest standard of character. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ, you are upon the highest standard of character. And likewise, the seeker of knowledge has to have that high standard of character and has to be concerned that my da'wah is accepted by the people that I convey that da'wah to. So don't allow yourself to be caught up in the dunya. Like, for example, is it wrong for a talib ilm to, for example, let's say, pull up outside the masjid in really expensive sports car? I don't know, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever, just pull up outside the masjid and just take the keys out, go and lead the salah. Nothing wrong with it. He bought it with halal money. Do you think it's possible that min bab al-muru'ah, something could be in the heart of the person, like, something could be a little bit, something could go into the person's heart? There's nothing wrong. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He bought something permissible for him to buy, and he, enjoyed it, and he came to the masjid to lead the salah. Isn't it possible min bab khawarim al-muru'ah that the person might have something in his heart and feel, I don't know, so you have to think about those things. And maybe everyone's like that. Everyone's got these flashy cars. No problem. You have to think about the way that your da'wah is received by people and what it does to you and the way that you convey it. So these issues may not fall into issues of prohibition like that. You have to think about it. هذا والله أعلم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.